Shabbat Shalom, everyone. I hope you are doing well. This week's Parsha is Vayishlach, and we are continuing the saga of the story of Jacob, of Yaakov. So in this week's Parsha, Jacob leaves Haran after living there for 20 years. He has all of his children, blah, blah, blah. And he is told that Esav is on the warpath coming to him. And so how does Jacob prepare for this confrontation with Esav? We are told in this sort of series of events that he first prepares for war, gathers all of his things. Then he prays to God, and then he prepares gifts for Esav. So it's an interesting sort of sandwich of action, prayer, action. And in the end, it ends up working out well for him that these gifts, these prayers, whatever it is, the combination, allows Esav to forgive him. They have a lovely little reunion, and it's very nice, and they move on with their lives. But it's funny, the sort of this idea of like hitting everything, like not just putting all your eggs in one basket. Jacob didn't just put all of his eggs in the prayer basket, didn't put them all in just in the, gifts basket, didn't put them all in the preparing for war basket. He did all three of those things, which I think is an interesting point and kind of just an interesting ethical lesson for people, that when we are, preparing for anything, that we should always go for every single potential way of succeeding, and whatever option that is. So that happens. Jacob does all these things. We are told that Jacob is left alone the night before he is supposed to meet Esav. All of his family's on the other side of the Jabbok River, but Jacob is left alone. And the commentaries tell us that he went back for some small bottles, which the first commentary, will tell us like, oh, it's that Jacob was a very rich man, but he valued everything that he had. So even small bottles he went back for. I've heard people describe it like it's like Bill Gates bending over to pick up a $1 bill, like that sort of thing, like just caring about things. Okay, fine. I have to wonder if he realized that he left some bottles and was like, hey guys, I'm going to go back and get those, just out of wanting to be alone before this sort of big, event that was going to happen for him. That's my personal thought. I feel like Jacob wanted to go and be alone the night before this happened, not have any distractions. And famously, what happens while he's over on the riverbed is that he is met by the angel, the Malach, and they wrestle. This is the night where Yaakov becomes Yisrael. So they wrestle. It appears that Jacob's going to win, and the angel touches Jacob's hip socket, which dislocates it. And this is why we're not allowed to eat from the hip sinew of a sinew of an animal, because Jacob's body was hurt. In the morning, the angel tells him, your name is no longer Jacob, your name is Yisrael. And so last week we talked a little bit about this, about how the name Yaakov, it can be derived from the word for heel, it can be derived from the word for crooked, but Yisrael, we learn, is about fighting against the divine and winning. The other explanation that I like is to break up the word into Yashar El. So straight with God. So in his whole life, Jacob's kind of been a dishonest guy. He experiences dishonesty perpetrated to him when he's given the wrong wife on his wedding night, and then he's also will be deceived later when his son Joseph he's told that his son Joseph was killed by a wild beast, but that's not the case. There's a lot of deceit and deception in Jacob's life, but it seems like maybe he's come around. He does feel sorry about what he did to Esav, it appears. When they reunite, so Jacob wakes up, he's given the new name Yisrael, and that's right before this big event. So it's interesting, like God is kind of with Jacob in this, like, oh, this is about to be some sort of scary experience that you're going to have. Well, don't worry. I'm going to send an angel. You can have this experience. It's a little bit life-changing. And then you will become Yashar Kel, straight with God, and no longer crooked, no longer deceitful Jacob. So then, Jacob crosses the river in the morning. He approaches Esav, and when Esav sees him, they run together and have a really beautiful reunion. They hug. They're on their knees. It's beautiful. And then Jacob's like, okay, I have all these gifts for you. More gifts in addition to the ones he sent ahead. And Esav famously says, no, I have plenty, do not worry. The Hebrew text is Yeshli Rav. Yeshli meaning I have, Rav meaning a lot, like Toda Rabbah, thank you a lot, Rav, Rabbah, that sort of thing. And then later, when Jacob is like, no, please accept the gift, I have plenty too. But the Hebrew text that's used for Jacob is Yeshli Kol. So Esav has Yeshli Rav and Jacob has Yeshli Kol. So besides the fact that Jacob and Esau are so different, this way of describing their possessions is particularly insightful. Esau says, I have plenty. Does that mean that he feels satisfied by the things that he has? He has plenty, fine. But to say that I have everything, Yeshli Kol, is really powerful to me. And I'm always very moved by this when we get to this parsha, because Jacob, perhaps in his old age or in his years of growing and not being a deceitful little sucker anymore, kind of figures out what's really important. And maybe it's that having family and people that you love and companionship, people that you're proud of, work that you're proud of, that is everything, and not, deceiving your brother and taking the birthright, or, that, like, the things that are of the youth. So yeah, again, Esav is the one he's sort of a brute. Yeshli Rav, I have plenty, but but Jacob is the wise man, and he has everything. Yeshli Kol. So this week, I hope you take the energy of Yeshli Kol with you into all the things that you do. Shabbat Shalom. God willing, I will see you next week.